One of management's functions is to control company operations. Control consists of the steps taken by management to see that planned objectives are met. In this chapter, or the next few videos, we'll explore how budgets contribute to controlling operations. The use of budgets in controlling operations is known as budgetary control. Such control takes place by means of a budget report that compares actual results with planned objectives. The use of the budget report is based on the belief that planned objectives lose much of their potential value without some monitoring of the progress along the way. Just as I give you exams to evaluate your progress, top management requires periodic reports on the progress of department managers towards their planned objectives. Budget reports provide management with feedback on operations. The feedback for a crucial objective, such as having enough cash on hand to pay bills, may be made daily. For other objectives, such as meeting budgeted annual sales and operating expenses, monthly budgeted reports may suffice. Budget reports are prepared as frequently as needed. For my company, we prepared monthly income statements, and then we'd analyze any differences between the actual and planned results to determine their causes. Budgetary control begins by establishing a budget, and then we compare those numbers to what actually happens. Management then takes corrective action, or it decides to modify future plans. You learned in Chapter 22 that the master budget formalizes management's planned objectives for the coming year. When used in budgetary control, each budget included in the master budget is considered to be static. A static budget is a projection of budget data at one level of activity. These budgets do not consider data for different levels of activity. As a result, companies will always compare actual results with the budget data at the activity level that was used in developing the master budget. To illustrate a static budget, we will use selected data prepared for Hayes Company in Chapter 22. In Chapter 22, in the first quarter, we budgeted $180,000 for sales, and in the second quarter, it was $210,000. We now have the actual results. The actual sales in the first quarter were $179,000 and $199,500 in the second quarter. This is the sales budget report for Hayes' first quarter. The rightmost column reports the difference between the budgeted and the actual amounts. We sometimes call this a budget variance. The report shows that sales are $1,000 under budget, an unfavorable result. This difference is less than 1% of budgeted sales. Top management's reactions to an unfavorable difference is often influenced by the materiality or the significance of the difference. Since the difference of $1,000 is immaterial in this case, we assume that Hayes management takes no specific corrective action. This is the sales budget report for the second quarter. It contains one additional feature, cumulative year-to-date information. This report indicates that sales for the second quarter are $10,500 below budget. This is 5% of budgeted sales. Top management may now conclude that the difference between budgeted and actual sales requires investigation. A master sales budget is useful in evaluating the performance of a sales manager. Is it, however, appropriate for evaluating a manager's performance in controlling cost? Remember that in a static budget, data is not modified or adjusted. A static budget is appropriate in evaluating a manager's effectiveness in controlling cost when the actual level of activity closely approximates the master budget activity level and/or the behavior of the cost in response to change in the activity is fixed. A static budget report is appropriate for fixed manufacturing cost as well as fixed selling and administrative expenses. But as you will see shortly, static budget reports may not be a proper basis for evaluating a manager's performance in controlling variable cost.